and you have to rely on facts, and you can't convict somebody based on hearsay. You can't change the course of an election because you think something bad might have happened. You have to be able to have ironclad proof that it has happened, and that proof is utterly lacking from every one of the claims that I've looked at attached to the 2020 election.
And that is voting data expert Ken Block trashing Donald Trump's claims that the 2020 election was stolen. Block owns a software company that was hired by Donald Trump to find voter fraud in the election. He says his company, Simpatico Software Systems, examined a wide range of data, information, and alleged evidence in pursuing the Trump claims and allegations.
My job initially was to look for voter fraud, look for deceased voters, look for duplicate voters, that sort of thing. And my mission changed over time because they realized that I had a lot of capabilities I could bring to the table, and they started running a whole bunch of claims that others brought to the attention of the campaign. They asked me to determine whether or not those claims were true, and every single claim that I looked at, I was able to prove that they were false claims and not true.
After the November 2020 election, before Trump left office in January 2021, and then after that, Block says he repeatedly told Trump former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows that the investigation was not finding evidence of large enough fraud to change the election outcome. Still, Trump continued to publicly claim the vote had been rigged. Block has now written a memoir about his experience working for the Trump campaign and his efforts to chase down every lead or claim that votes had been fixed or stolen. Block says his investigations and analysis were tireless and thorough, even on the Trump team allegations that were way out there.
But I can tell you that some of the claims were really bonkers. They were wild claims. They were easy to prove that they were true, that they were false. And there were other claims that relied on complex mathematical theories that took a little bit longer to figure out, but I was able in every circumstance to show the people that brought these claims forward that they didn't apply and they weren't true.
The Trump claims did not apply and were not true. Block says he is speaking out in his book and in media interviews because his work has already been disclosed to the House January 6th committee. Block notes that he has given testimony to that committee as well as to prosecutors working for Special Counsel Jack Smith and Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis. Also, Block says he never had a non-disclosure agreement with the Trump campaign. Block's story adds another important piece to the history of the 2020 election and to the Trump lies that followed. In December 2020, it was widely reported that the U.S. Justice Department and the FBI had looked into Trump's voter fraud allegations and found nothing that would change the results. So then Attorney General Bill Barr repeated that in public and directly to outgoing President Trump. However, Trump dismissed Barr as a member of the deep state, and just before Christmas in December 2020, Barr resigned. Now, thanks to the memoir of Ken Block, we have evidence that the Trump campaign paid a man and his software company, ignored the findings that the election had been clean, and then Trump still lied to the public. As Block points out, Trump continues to lie about 2020 as part of his campaign in 2024. Polls show the percentage of Americans who believe Joe Biden won legitimately keep dropping. The overall percentage is now down to just 62% who say Joe Biden won fair and square. And among Republicans, only 31% say Biden's election was legitimate. 2 out of every 3 Republicans say the 2020 election was rigged. Will Block's book change any of this? Probably not, because sadly, facts and reality don't matter to Trump and much of the GOP. Still, Block himself is a Republican, and his memoir called Disproven is an interesting and important piece of the 2020 election history. By the way, Republican 2024 presidential candidate Chris Christie is now hitting Donald Trump with some of the harshest attacks so far in this campaign.
Some people say I should drop out of this race. Really? I'm the only one saying Donald Trump is a liar. He pits Americans against each other. His Christmas message to anyone who disagrees with him? Rotten hell. He caused a riot on Capitol Hill. He'll burn America to the ground.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.